this North American Union thing.
Dude, it's weird.
It's a horrible idea.
There's some real good tinfoil coming out about Greenland, though, and like both secret underground technologies and bases and mineral deposits in Greenland that is looking real on point. Yeah, I'm gonna be digging into it.
But this also fits into the Club of Rome and their view that this is one area that they want to be a giant clump. Like, this is like area, North American Union. This is South American Union. This is European Union. They want to be giant clumps.
Yep. And then you can have one government rule over all of those states.
All that sounds great until you start realizing that this means they could throw out the Constitution. And that's where the danger comes in, because the First and the Second Amendment is the two important laws in the world.
Yep. I mean, I like to stay optimistic and think that the MAGA crowd, though they're doing an awful lot of like explaining away what Trump is doing right now, is like, oh, it's all good. Like, he's still totally America first. But at its core, the MAGA crowd is America first, even though they're willing to, make concessions for Trump because they need to. But if there was to be a left turn that sharp, I think that we, the people, have a momentum in a direction that you can't just turn and go the other direction. And I would hope that will hold. That being said, you would have said the same thing before the fucking Iraq war, that like that didn't pan out so well for us. So who knows?
Yeah. Did you guys watch The Apprentice, the film about Trump and
no?
What was it like?
I mean, as cinema, it's fascinating. It is exactly what you said, though, Ian. I mean, it shows all the crazy gay sex parties that Roy Cohn would have. Like, Trump walked in on one, and I'm sure that's fiction. But and Trump was just like, I mean, he did not want, he was just out of there, dude. It almost made him vomit after. It's fascinating though to see what.
I watch that.
Yeah, I recommend it. I mean, you got to come in. There's so many people who can't watch anything that's made by, if it's propaganda, you can't watch it. They're like, oh, I can't believe you even look at that. But you got to educate yourself about, I don't know. To me, that's a dumb reason.
What I do when I'm watching Hollywood movies nowadays, and I still do occasionally purposely watch Hollywood movies, but what I do is I use it not as like watch their movie, but as a creative person, I use it as like, marinate your brain in this kind of like made up space and imagine all the ways the world could be, and use it as like a thought experiment. So you're not actually thinking about what they're trying to tell you. You're actually like filtering out their propaganda and thinking through like just as a way to imagine like all the ways our world could be fucked up, whether it's a spy movie or like a fucking thriller or a sci-fi. It's just like good imaginative space to be like, oh fuck, maybe the New World Order would try something like that. Holy shit!
It's rare, right? That there's not some truth in especially a film like that. There's going to be some truth in it, and mostly I think it's to do with Roy Cohn in that. I don't think you can draw much from the characterization of Trump, but the Roy Cohn thing it's fascinating and it's very well acted.
Roy Cohn.
If you don't get butthurt about Trump looking a little dumb. Which I don't even think he looks dumb. He looks like a shark in this, to me, honestly. But if you can stand that, I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's January 8th. At this rate, like the Four Horsemen should be here by Friday.
Dude, I think the first one just showed up. We're we're rolling, dude.
Yeah. So. What do you think? I mean, like 2025 is a big year. There's a couple big years. Like as a man, as you grow up, 18's a big year, 21's a big year. I think the next one is like your insurance rate goes down. We have these like, as men, we have these dates that we get excited about. Yeah. But, there are like years that seem important in whether it's like predicting from back in the days, like Nostradamus and stuff like that, or the secret society years like 2030. So 2025 we had the Deagle report that somewhat's been debunked, that Deagle made a ton of crazy ass predictions that didn't come true, but the Deagle report was that the US population would be 50 million by the end of the year. See, I don't think it's ever going to get that bad, but things like a World War II that devastates Europe, Mao and 100 Days of Flowers and killing off 100 million people and Stalin. We've been very blessed that nothing like that has happened here, and I pray to God above that it does not happen. But what are your thoughts on what the next year to 5 years may look like?
I mean, I think that everyone's thinking it right now is it's just going to get crazier. And to your point here, like we get lulled into this sense of security in our, late stage empire life where we've never known anything but peace in the homeland. But every empire, except for I guess Britain, no, that's a fucking lie. They got bombed a ton of times.
Yeah.
Like every empire that seemed untouchable eventually is ravaged by war, by famine, by just monetary issues. And the American Western Empire has every sign of being the end stage of its empire. Like we're not the global superpower anymore. And whether that's, I mean, monetarily, we kind of still are, though our currency is rapidly falling apart. But like it's not going to last. And so what I'm trying to say is that everything is rosy till the day it's not. And you can't imagine the outbreak of World War II until the day it starts. And so like I also hope that nothing happens, but at the same time, like I just can't help but feel like hindsight is 2020 and looking forwards right now, it feels like a pressure cooker. It like the thing that I'm most concerned about is it feels like the world is ready for another 9/11. Speaking specifically about Israel and their goals in the Middle East and sort of like the global narrative around Israel and Palestine and the whole Middle Eastern conflict in combination with America sort of not having any central conflict or war to fight anymore. Like America kind of needs another 9/11 from the deep state's perspective too. So if I put myself in the shoes of the people that were behind 9/11 and I looked at the global stage today, it'd be like, dude, let's go. And what I worry about is that if you're in their shoes looking at the world and thinking about how do you do another 9/11 today, you got to go at least as big as 9/11, but you really should go bigger. And so I'm worried about something like a dirty bomb or something like a nuke, like a suitcase nuke on American soil, because those types of things are super hard to track. They're super hard to trace back to source. It'd be really easy to blame it on Iran, which the narrative for that is already circulating on podcasts like Sean Ryan Show. And if that were to happen, like Israel gets its war with Iran, America gets its like everyone comes together and goes to war with Iran, whether or not they had anything to do with it. And you break the nuclear ceiling, which I can't like think of anything worse for the world and anything like juicier for the warmongering like neocons than to kind of like take that, safety off of America and the world in general. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.